is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Happy 4th of July. We got a special episode today because today we ain't doing Miami Heat talk. No. We bringing it back to ER Sports. That's enough said. Anyways, you got your boy Ernest here, big bro Ralph. Ralph, talk to the people, my guy.
Happy 4th, my guys. Happy 4th, and this is a special Happy 4th to you guys, all right? I know you're out there doing your barbecue. We're going to get into that to the same thing, all right? We're going to do your fireworks and things like that, but you know what? We're going to do a little something to spice up your little Happy 4th of July special evening, and you know what? I'm hoping to give you guys some extra juice, extra information to get Heat fans and lifers excited.
Exactly, and look, guys, before we get started, please take a moment to support the channel, like the video, subscribe. That little red button, just click it. It takes 5 seconds. I also wanted to exactly. Also want to take a moment to thank everybody that tuned in earlier to the live today. We had a lot of fun today, but of course, it's free agency period, so you know you're getting 2 videos a day. So let's rock and roll with another ER Sports Miami Heat adventure. Now
that's enough said.
Go. We do that at the end of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so few things have happened, bro, when it comes to the Miami Heat topic. Before we get to the topics at hand, just a few things. As we know, Kevin Love opted out of his player option, re-signed for 2 years, $8 million. Thought he was going to take less money to help us out. No. Josh Richardson opted in. We lose DeLon Wright. We re-signed Drew Smith and Thomas Bryant. Why? But a signing that I like, Alec Burks at the minimum contract. Those are the new signings. Another update since you last came on, Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat have also basically said, okay, no contract extension. Jimmy's going to play off his last year. And Bam Adebayo also signs that 3-year max extension.
So there's been some movement.
There's been some movement. Yeah, so, brother, I mean, you know, the people haven't heard from you in a few weeks. You know, let them know your thoughts on what the Miami Heat have done lately.
We're behind the 8 ball, especially when you see other teams around the Eastern Conference right now. You got New York acquiring Mikal Bridges. You got Philadelphia getting PG-13. You got Boston, even though they have a $587 million salary
for their starting lineup.
But you know what? Bottom line, you want to touch on the second apron, and then bottom line is this. You get into the second apron to build a team like that. They're locked in. What more pieces do they need? And you can still go ahead and have your draft picks and pick first-round players and plug them into this team. That's where, if you're the Miami Heat and you want to even consider getting to the second apron, that's the type of roster you want to build. And I'm hoping at the end of this video, I can help fans realize some of the things we could do to get to that level, if we choose to do that.
Exactly. And guys, that's exactly what we preach here at Miami Heat Talk /ER Sports. It's positivity. It's looking at this team with the glass half full. I understand. There's other channels, there's other people out there that'll look at this with a pessimistic, negative eye. No, hell no. We don't look at life that way. How can we get better? Because at the end of the day, this team is a contender. So what we're trying to do is plug little holes and find out how this team can be better. Because let's be honest, Pat Riley ain't no fool. I understand that people have been talking trash about Pat lately, saying that he's been sleeping. Look, Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg are some of the best front office management the NBA has to offer. I know there's something going on in play. So at the end of the day, bro, what do we preach here? Positivity. Let's not focus on stuff we can't control. Let's focus on something that we can control.
Well, let's do this. Sorry to interrupt. Let's hope Pat Riley watches this video.
Hopefully. I know.
Oh, come on, God,
I know he does. I know he does.
We're going to break it down for you guys momentarily. Some of the things that we can do, keys that we can go ahead and put in on the scene to the car and get the car rolling, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it will get us all the way to the top.
Exactly. And look, what do we have right now? We know we have 12 standard contracts.
Yes.
Orlando Robinson is not fully guaranteed. I think the Heat are going to release him, so let's say it's 11 standard contracts. What can the Heat do at this point? There's 3 options.
Okay.
You can sign minimum contract players like Alec Burks. You have your you can also trade for a player, which we're going to talk about later, but one thing I want to touch on, bro.
Okay.
Yesterday, Miami signed Alec Burks.
Okay.
And I thought it was for the mid-level exception. It wasn't. It was the veteran minimum contract. So the Miami Heat still have that $5.2 million exception. It's only $2 million more than the standard minimum contracts for players that have over 10 years experience. But I will say this. DeLon Wright left us for Milwaukee at the minimum contract. Dumbass state taxes. If you sign a $5.2 million contract,
maybe he didn't want him back.
whatever.
Maybe he didn't want to.
True, maybe, but you signed with Florida. With the Miami Heat in Florida, there's no state income taxes, so that $5.2 million contract looks sweet.
Yeah, we've been there, done that. Remember years ago, Gordon Hayward had an opportunity to come here in Miami, and he took the Boston deal, even though that was going to go ahead and have state tax implications. But you know what, guys? Regardless, we're going to go ahead and break down, because my brother's been stressing about that $5.2 million mid-level exception.
No, I love it.
Not the 10, but we're going to break down the 5, and we're going to give you some options.
So who do you think, realistically, Miami can get with this exception?
Realistically, who wouldn't want to live in South Beach, right? But you know what? I kind of break down a few players that we could be in consideration. One of the guys I mentioned, maybe we only have to spend the mid-level on him, just like we do with Alec Burks, Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley is a nice little wing player that can go ahead, hit the spot up three, can play. He's not the best one-on-one defender, but he's a good team defender, and especially in this Heat culture, I think he can make a good difference.
Okay. I like him.
Patrick Beverly, he's like the pogo stick of the NBA.
And we do need a backup point guard.
Yeah, Pat Beverly's another one. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, can he not fit the Heat culture? The way he plays, the way he rolls, the rugged type of player that he is, and things like that.
He perfectly fit this role. Yeah. Especially with Jimmy Butler. Exactly. Jimmy Butler and Pat Beverly, I'd love that.
Another guy, Lonnie Walker, same thing. Rugged player, you grit and grind type of player. He's kind of like that Miami Heat type player. You know, chase loose balls, take charges and things like that.
I like
Maybe he's another guy, but you know, in this day and age in the NBA, you never know.
Especially if we do lose Caleb Martin. I mean, Lonnie Walker can easily fit in that role.
And we're gonna get into Caleb Martin in a little while. Another player that I do like, honestly, my brother, and I mentioned him in our last video, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yep.
Spencer Dinwiddie was a Laker last year. He only signed with the Lakers because he got bought out of his contract.
Yeah.
He's another guy could add a little more stability at that point guard position. Can play off ball as well, especially if Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero was handling the ball.
Spencer Dinwiddie at the $5.2 million exception, though.
No, these are just options.
Yeah.
If we exhaust all options, because there's a reason Spencer Dinwiddie is still available. Either nobody wants him, or he's waiting for that type of offer.
That's true.
So honestly, another guy I like from Toronto, Gary Trent Jr. He's another guy, you know what I'm saying, combo guard, can hit the three ball, can play one-on-one defense, fairly average, and if not very decent in this league. And he's only 25 years of age. I'm sorry, 25 or 26. And he's another guy that hasn't really garnered a lot of interest in the league, in the open market. Maybe he says, okay, you know what? I take a deal with Miami. I join this Heat culture. I go ahead, make some spot starts. You know, we have injuries over the years.
Yeah, that's true.
And he could build his value.
Kind of like what we wanted Patty Mills to do. But
exactly. But I'll tell you one thing, guys. Because Pat Riley is the godfather, I do have some guys that would be willing to go ahead and sign the mid-level exception and come join this Heat culture and can actually thrive for that next contract. One guy I'm going to mention is Saddiq Bey. Saddiq Bey, unfortunately, had that ACL injury last year. He's not going to be ready for the start of the regular season. Take a chance. Go ahead, throw this guy the money. We're not here to play for the start of the regular season. We're here for the end game. Of course, we've been preaching about the regular season. We need to focus more on the regular season. We can't get caught up in this in-season play tournament and things like that. I'm sorry. The in-game... the
play-in tournament.
Play-in tournament. Sorry, guys.
Who wants to be there again? We've been there for 2 straight years.
Exactly. So Saddiq Bey is a nice option. Maybe, I don't know if he'll take a 1+1 with a team option. Maybe with a play option, prove himself.
I like Saddiq Bey.
He can go ahead and come through.
I like Saddiq Bey.
Another guy I do like, Luke Kennard.
Yes.
He's another guy from Memphis who declined the team option on him. I think this guy could come right in. And you mentioned, you actually mentioned a comment to me about Tyler Hero. You also mentioned about Terry Rozier. Luke Kennard can start on this team. He can start on this team, and Rozier could play that 6-man role. He can play that 6-man role.
If you're bringing in Luke Kennard and Duncan Robinson are pretty much the same player. But I mean, if you could bring Luke Kennard at that type of money,
let's know, because Luke Kennard can actually handle the ball better, and he's a better defender than
That's true.
Duncan Robinson.
That's true.
But my number one guy to sign for the mid-level exception, Markelle Fultz from the Orlando Magic. Hear me out, bro. Okay, the guy was actually really good this year.
He was,
but considering the circumstances and everything, and right now he has not garnered any interest in the open market. Why not bring a guy, if he's willing to do it, for the Heat culture? Join this team with Eric Spoelstra, with our training department. Injuries has always been an issue for him in the past.
Always.
He's starting to turn it around.
Which is why he'd probably fit here.
And Orlando has not made any indication that they want to go and sign into a long-term deal. Why not? But check this out. You bring in a guy like Markelle Fultz in. Ball handling, can distribute, he can get to the basket. The shot's no longer broken anymore, and I'm a big advocate, bro, of bringing Terry Rozier off the bench. I think Terry Rozier, his ability to be a six-man of the year candidate all day long. You got Bam, you got Hero, you got Butler. Bring Rozier off the bench and have folks go ahead and navigate these plays. You know what I'm saying? Set the picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Set the pick and pop plays and things like that. I think for $5.2 million, you could do a hell of a lot worse than Markelle Fultz. I mean, he's only 25 years old.
I mean, look, it does make sense because having a floor general as your starting point guard next to a scorer like Tyler Hero, and then Terry Rozier coming off the bench for either one of them, it makes a lot of sense. Now, I agree with you.
Now, hold up. Before we move into the next, I have an honorable mention.
Okay.
CP3, Chris Paul. He is another one, but he is 39.
He just signed with the Spurs.
Oh, sorry guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
He just signed with the Spurs.
Sorry guys.
So that's not likely. No, he signed with San Antonio to play a Wembayama.
Yeah.
So those are actually great candidates. And you know what's funny? When I did when I did the mid-level exception a few weeks ago, a lot of these names didn't come up, but because the market's clearing up. Yeah. So when the market clears up, some of these guys may not have a choice but to take a little bit less money. And let's be honest, it's kind of similar to Dion Waiters in 2016. And I'm not mentioning him for something specific. It's just the one that's coming off my head. When you bet on yourself for 1 year and double down, like Waiters did. He took a $2.3 million contract with the Heat that year, balled out, and then he got his 4-year, $44 million contract. Which we did. But that's a perfect example. Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown dominates with Denver in the NBA Finals. Bets on himself, doubles down, gets a $40 million contract for 2 years. So these players that you mentioned, Ralph, even though some people in the comments will be like, they'll never take that money. It's to bet on yourself for 1 year, move far with the Miami Heat, actually win a few playoff games, and then you can get the bag.
Think about it, bro. People are going to take 5 2. By the way, my bad for the CP3, guys, okay? I work a lot. I'm crazy. And I knew he did sign with the Spurs, all right? But you know what? That's why I said honorable mention. I had that in my notes and everything in there for you. So, guys, we've been playing this for days, all right? So I got you. I got you the next one, especially at the end. You're going to hear me out, and Heat fans are going to throw the pots and pans when I end this one. But I think, like I said, you always weigh out the potential and the upside for the value. You get a player like Markelle Fultz at that $5.2 million mid-level exception. Now you're talking value, a guy that's only 25 years old that still has the potential to continue to grow in his game. So that's my outlook for the mid-level exception, guys. I mean,
I love it.
There might be other options, but when I look at my list, I'm talking about upside and they can actually make a difference at that mid-level.
And look, you guys, a lot of people have been clamoring in the comments, why haven't the Heat made some moves? It's probably because they're waiting for the market to clear up. You could take that exception, get one of these guys. Makes a lot of sense. Now, let's move on to trades. Because we talked about free agency. Like, the 5.2 mid-level exception is all we have. So the only way that the Heat can really upgrade this roster is by making a trade. Now, last year, when we were trying to trade for Damian Lillard, people were going crazy saying the Heat have no assets. 1 year later, we've not really done anything different, and all of a sudden, we have assets. So here's my question for you, brother. Players on this team, who do you think that we can trade that pose value in the open market?
So bottom line, the usual suspects. You have Tyler Hero, you have Duncan Robinson. Those are the two that are always going to come up, okay? Duncan Robinson because he's on an expiring deal, and then Tyler Hero because his potential, he's younger and things like that. Obviously, the other usual, you have Jaime Jaquez. He's always going to be one. He was very impressive, all rookie this year. You also have Nikola Jovic, who's continued to progress, continue to develop himself as a really good NBA player in this league. I don't know if he'll ever reach all-star level, you know what I'm saying? But you never know. Under the right circumstances, maybe even with us. But obviously, there's teams around the league. We just drafted Kel'el Ware. You've raved about him in your video.
Love him.
His size, the ability to block, and he actually knocked down the 3-ball.
Trade him.
Well, like I said, in Pat Riley's world, you never have a price, okay? Other than that, brother, in terms of players, the only other flexibility we might have is maybe sign and trade with Haywood Highsmith or maybe Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
I don't think Caleb Martin's coming back to this team. I think Caleb Martin's kind of like sit back, let him free agency kind of like cool down and to see what his market will roll into. But that's where we're at right now.
I mean, we did it with Max Strus last year. We did a sign and trade.
Exactly. So that could be another possibility. We can go ahead, trade Caleb Martin, create a trade exception, which will give us flexibility to offset that money, especially if we can't match up, you know what I'm saying, within 125%, you have that trade exception.
Exactly.
You go ahead and knock in there, and they'll go ahead and make the difference.
And that right there, you guys, that's why Big Bro comes on the channel. Nobody really knows about this trade exception, so he's here to educate us. Now, here's my next one, bro. We're talking about tradable players. Here's another question that I have, because what's one thing that you need to include in trades? Draft capital. You want to go for a Lauri Markkanen. You know Danny Ainge wants draft picks. You want to trade for a Trey Young. You know Atlanta's going to want draft capital. So here's the question, and here's something Heat fans ask me in the comments, and we're glad that we have Big Bro on this channel. What type of draft capital do the Miami Heat have moving forward? We just drafted Kel'el Ware. But people don't know what's our draft capital moving forward. There's some draft picks that we've already traded. There's some draft picks that we can keep. There's some draft picks that are lottery protected. Let them know, my guy.
Not much.
Exactly.
So the soonest draft pick that we can trade, now that we already had used our 2024 pick, guys, the earliest we could trade a pick is 2030, 2031.
Ouch.
That's the earliest. We go to trade the 2930 pick or the 2030, 3031 pick. That's like far away. I think I'm gonna be 50 by then. I'm not right. So at this moment, guys, this is what we have. We owe a 2025 pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is lottery protected. If it conveys, it's unprotected in 2026. We owe the 2027 lottery protected first round pick to Charlotte in the Terry Rozier trade. If that conveys, that'll be 2028 unprotected. Okay, and you know if we trade a 2028, we can't trade a 2029. So that means the only tradable pick that we have is 30. Now we could swap 29. That we'll be able to do. We can swap. We can't trade it. So if we get into
which means a pick swap, guys.
Pick swap, guys. So this is the way it happens. Anytime you put any type of protection, it's going to carry you over to the following year, depending how heavily you protect it. Pat Riley made the decision 2025, 2027, both lottery protected. All right, and if it doesn't, if we keep the pick, it's going to go to the following year.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's what it comes down to. Which just seems like in 2025, it's not going to convey because it's safe to say that we're not going to be in the lottery. All right, so Oklahoma's going to go ahead and get that pick. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, at the end, guys, there is another way we can do this. If Pat Riley wants to go ahead and fish for a whale, we have another option. We have 2030. We have a 2029 pick swap. If we go ahead and we lift the protection on the 2025 and 2027 pick, we can actually go ahead and make 2026 and 2028 swappable. Okay. So if we're going to make a trade, we can go ahead and we can offer a 2026 swap, 2028 swap, and we can also offer the 2030 pick.
If we can lift the
protection. But those comes with negotiation. We can go and call Oklahoma, look, we're going to lift it. We're going to make it unprotected for you guys. Maybe Oklahoma says, no, it's okay. We want to see how good you are in 2026. Not a problem. Charlotte, no, it's okay. We're going to wait till 2028. So it all depends how they want to work it out to see if maybe Oklahoma wants that 2025 pick. Okay, regardless, look, we're going to make it unprotected, but you got to do it before the season starts. Because a lot of things can happen. What if Miami doesn't make the playoffs? Now Oklahoma hit a home run. So those are some of the things that we can go ahead and you say, okay, Ralph, so at this point, we can have 3 pick swaps and a first round pick that we can offer. Up to actually 4 pick swaps. We could swap 26, 28, and we could also swap 30 and make 30, 31 unprotected. Or we can make 30 unprotected. And guys, if you're gonna go cross-eyed, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot of things and everything, but this
is the stuff that they need to hear. Because here's the thing, brother, and this is exactly what I've been mentioning all off season. 2024 is a little bit different. We have the aprons, we have salary cap restrictions, you have trade restrictions. There's a lot of things. Now, if you're a second apron team, there's certain first round picks you lose. The listeners don't know this. They'll listen to somebody talk about it and say, "Oh, let's get Kevin Durant. Let's throw Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson." You can't do that because Phoenix is the second apron team. So you can't allocate players in a trade. Like, people don't understand this. So I understand that this stuff is boring. I understand that this stuff is annoying. But if it annoys you just listening to it for a few minutes, can you imagine what it's like being a front office representative? Those haters in my comments, those people that have nothing better to do in life that say, I would be a terrible front office person or a terrible GM. Those are the same idiots that don't understand what's going on and what the changes that are making. Huh?
They should call us, bro.
They really should.
I do great in NBA 2K.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. It's new restrictions. It's new stuff. This is hampering teams, changing teams. So we know about the flexibility with trades with players. We know about the flexibility with trades with draft picks. But there is one thing that we are thinking and sitting on. We know we didn't extend Jimmy.
Yep.
We understand. Now that we have not extended Jimmy, what is one risk that we are posing? Losing him for nothing. Like Los Angeles just did with Paul George.
Yeah.
We know what the new trend has been in the NBA within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If a player is on the final year of their contract before their option year and you can't get anything out of them and you can't restrict the new contract, you trade that SOB and you get as much draft capital as you can.
Yep.
This situation with Jimmy Butler is very different. It kind of reminds me of 2010 with LeBron, Bosh, Wade, all these guys.
Yeah.
None of those players were traded. You let them all opt out of their contract because you can't allow them to, you don't want to trade them. So my question for you, brother, because I've been preaching this, I think that Heat did the right thing. Don't give him the extension because you know you're going to get probably the best season out of him because he's playing for a contract year. So my question for you, brother, regardless how Jimmy Butler does this year during the season, let's say if the Miami Heat, let's say Jimmy's having a decent season and the Heat are just not doing it. Do you trade Jimmy Butler or do you ride him out all season long?
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
Yeah, it just comes down to, my brother, which route do we want to go? I can see a world that we do trade Jimmy. I see a world that we trade Jimmy and we say, okay, you know what? We are who we are. We're not in a position where we're going to contend for titles, and we're just going to retool. We're going to trade Jimmy Butler. We're going to go younger, and we're going to build around Bam as our new franchise player, along with Tyler Hero and the rest of the players. So, or I could see another world like, you know what? We've been to the finals 2 times in the last 5 years, okay? We know what Himmy can do when it comes to playoff. There's playoff Himmy. You know, with the rest of us, you know what I'm saying? And kind of like go ahead and bring it back. Roll it back, you know what I'm saying? And see what we do. You know, honestly, it just comes down to, my brother, which way does the Heat want to go? And I already know the route we're going to go. We're keeping Jimmy Butler. Because Riley is not about rebuilds. He's not about rebuilds. He's about contending. He's about titles. He's about going ahead and putting the best product out there on the court. And Riley, at his age, he's not about the whole rebuilding process.
He wants to
now,
win.
if Riley hands the reins to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah. To
go ahead eventually, which that's a topic for another day. I could see eventually. I know Alonzo Mourning was there, bro. I think Eric Spoelstra eventually, just like Brad Stevens in Boston, he's going to move into that front office role.
I agree.
And Eric Spoelstra is going to grab his next protege to be the head coach of the Miami. Yeah. But that's a topic for another day.
That's another topic. And
yeah, but bottom line, guys, I believe we're going to hang out with Jimmy. He's going to go ahead. He's going to play out this year. He could prove whatever he wants. At the end of the day, Riley is going to go ahead and make that decision what's best. Because he could go ham this year, brother, and then he gets his money, then what? Yeah. He's just going to sit out again.
Kyle Lowry situation. I think, honestly, bro, I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
This is the final year. Yeah. This is, in my opinion, the final year of the Jimmy Butler build, and this might be the last year of Pat Riley. I think this Miami Heat team, 2025, they're going to go all in. I think Pat Riley's like, that's it. Me and Chris need to enjoy retirement. It's going to be Eric Spoelstra's team now. We're going to go all in 2025. Jimmy Butler's 34, going on 35.
Yep.
That's why they didn't agree to an extension because, look, and I'll say this. If the Miami Heat win the 2025 NBA championship, then yes, Jimmy may be back. They may re-sign him as a thank you. Because we won. We did it. We won. Yeah, we could suck the year after, whatever. And we could build off of Bam after that. Jimmy, thank you. But I think this year is the final year. That you're going to see Pat Riley in the front office. The final year that we may see Jimmy Butler in this build. So my question to you, my dog. We've seen Tyler Hero with this Butler build. Hasn't worked in my opinion.
Yeah.
Except for 2020. Hasn't worked. Dude gets injured every year. There's so many talks about trades. We were trying to trade for Donovan Mitchell. He resigns. Lauri Markkanen's out there, but there's crickets in the Miami Heat front. You've seen the whole DeMar DeRozan thing. You mentioned the Caleb Martin thing earlier. I mentioned the live today. There was a report out there that it's possible that Miami and Chicago are talking about a double sign and trade. When it involves DeMar DeRozan coming to Miami, Caleb going to Chicago, but Miami may have to sweeten the pot. But there's also other players. We saw DeJounte Murray get traded. He was linked to Miami. But Trae Young's still in Atlanta. There's other players as well. So, brother, my question for you, with the trade market, with all of my Heat subscribers, all of the Heat Nation out there, they're getting bummed out because this player's going here, this player's going there. The Heat aren't making moves. Brother, do you feel that there's anybody right now that the Miami Heat can actually realistically trade for, or are we just going to run it back next year?
So, I think we're going to run him back, but are there options? I do. I broke it down to my brother a few names. There is an honorable mention, but I think we're done trying to negotiate with Portland, Jeremy Grant.
Hell no.
He's one of those guys which I think Jeremy Grant will fit in nicely.
Perfectly, but there's no way Pat Riley and Joe Cronin going to do business.
Yeah, of course. In this business, you can't take it personal. But that was an honorable mention, guys. But a couple of names I have in mind. Number one, we see what's going on in Brooklyn. Okay, attention all Kmart shoppers. You know, everything's at a discount. You know, and Dorian Finney-Smith. I like Dorian Finney-Smith. You could get him on the low, on the cheap. It's not going to cost you any first-round capital. Okay, Sean Marks. I know what he's going after. He's not going to get
former Heat player, by the way.
Thank you. Okay. There's a world that I could see him that we can go ahead, we can swing. I mean, I don't know the exact player off the top of my head right now. Maybe a sign and trade for Caleb Martin.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can do that because Duncan.
Which I don't think so because where Brooklyn is right now. I think they'd be more interested for a player young like Haywood Highsmith. Yeah. I think they could see that like maybe not that they want to lose Highsmith, but look at the trajectory and the timeline where Brooklyn's opposed to the Heat. Yeah. Finney-Smith is 31. Haywood Highsmith is what,
24.
24. So he fits more like the Brooklyn timeline. I could see Haywood Highsmith like maybe going ahead and doing a sign and trade, 3 years, 35, 40 million, and then you swap those two players, and Finney-Smith will fit nicely. Defensive player, could guard multiple positions, something of a low-key, low-price player that you can get can fit right, and he can start at the 4.
I mean, but
guys, it's slim pickings right now. This free agent class this year has been trash, and we don't have an abundance of draft picks.
That's true.
The reality of it, before I keep moving on, you have to accept.
What we have. I'll be honest with you. I would prefer Highsmith because I think Highsmith fits this particular team better.
I agree. That's not that me and my brother like to disagree, but I disagree. I think for the team we have, Finney-Smith would be a better fit. But moving on.
Let us know in the comments what y'all think.
Thank you. We haven't said that for like the last 20-something minutes.
I got you.
The next guy, that you could throw in, Kyle Kuzma out of Washington.
That'd be nice.
Washington's also going ahead.
Tyler Hero.
Rebuild.
Tyler Hero would be great in Washington.
I don't know it's going to be for Tyler Hero. I didn't say that.
I say that.
I think Washington has to look and say, okay, we're in the rebuilding stage right now.
Yeah.
How much does this benefit us to really have Kyle Kuzma here?
Yeah.
Maybe you go ahead and you offer Duncan's expiring contract, and maybe you have to give up with Jovic. A young guy, a young project.
I will say one thing. Remember, Tyler Hero's baby mama is Kyle Kuzma's ex. So now you're bringing drama.
So now you're getting...
And let's not forget, Tyler Hero is not a great handler with drama, but as you've seen what's happened to Twitter lately.
But I'm not trading Tyler Hero for Kyle Kuzma. These are just players that could be available.
Look, but my opinion, and you know what, bro? This is kind of like a first take thing. That we're having a debate, and I'll be honest with you. Like, if you're asking me, with the success that we had in 2023 and the success that we've had without Tyler Hero in this lineup, am I willing to trade Tyler Hero and get Kyle Kuzma to fill in a role and help us? I would be willing to do that. I want to know what y'all think in the comments.
Yeah, and ultimately it's going to come down to Pat Riley.
Facts.
I think there's a world that we can get him. If they can't make it work out, I could see a world that Tyler Hero still has value, and we can flip him.
I mean, Tyler Hero needs to be on a bad team. That's what I feel. Because Tyler Hero, he wants to be an all-star.
Yeah.
He wants to be an all-NBA player. The only way he's going to do that is if he's on a trash team and he's given 28 attempts
Look,
a day.
if anybody could make this work out, regardless of personal, remember LeBron once played in Cleveland and a teammate slept with his mom, supposedly? So there's always a world, bro. And if there's anybody that can do it, okay, it's Erik Spoelstra. But
agree.
like I said, another option that I can mention, Nikola Vucevic from Chicago.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
He's another guy that can play the center position. It will make Bam happy. Bam could transition to the power forward position.
Yep.
And we know that Chicago, my brother, they're trying to rebuild.
Fire sale.
They're trying. They can't even get freaking a bag of M&Ms with Zach LaVine
nice.
right now.
Yep.
So Nikola Vucevic, bro, he's a crafty player.
Yep.
He's a poor man's Nikola Jokic. You know what I'm saying? The way he does. He can shoot from distance. Okay, he's a good defender. He can play in the post. He's a really good rebounder, and he's developed a spot of three, and he can pass.
No,
I think
he fits.
and he's the same thing. He's not going to require us trading Tyler Hero for. Definitely, you throw in the Duncan Robinson, Jovic. Jovic is going to be like the stable here. I'm not going to say I'm willing to offer Jaime Jaquez for him. I'm not willing to go that route at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Hell no.
No, but I'm just giving you an example. You know what I'm saying? Or even like. They might ask for Kel'el Ware. They might ask for Kel'el Ware, and that's when we ask, okay, Kel'el Ware is a few years down the road from really being that big-time player that we hope for us, or you trade for Vucevic now, and you move Bam to the power forward, and that'll complete our starting lineup. The next guy, you mentioned him, Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen, he's obviously going to be mentioned over and over again. Utah has not come out public, said that they're shopping him, but I'm sure they're willing to listen to offers.
No, the last report that I heard is that Utah is taking phone calls for Lauri Markkanen, and Golden State is the one that's Golden State and Sacramento are the teams that are going all in. There's no reports that Miami's made an offer. Maybe it's look, Danny Ainge and Pat Riley don't have a good history.
No.
Maybe that's what it is.
It could be.
It really is.
It could be.
It's really possible.
Yeah.
Because there's been reports that there've been mutual interest, but no talks have been done. That tells me one thing: Dwayne Wade's over there. For some reason, he didn't become a partial owner of Miami. Yep. That was bad. So I'm sure that was a rocky relation. And Danny Ainge and Pat Riley just don't get along. So I want to know who's number one. Who do you think realistically that he can go after?
Realistically. Number one, guys, in my list, and I know a lot of you guys will be a big fan of Lauri Markkanen, I'm going Brandon Ingram, bro. I'm going Brandon Ingram. And I know
people have asked about Brandon Ingram on these comments.
So, guys, let me tell you, look, I saw what New York did, giving 6 first-round picks.
5.
For Mikal Bridges.
5.
Don't forget the swap.
No, the 5th was a swap.
Milwaukee's pick.
Oh,
it was 4 New York picks. See, you're wrong too.
Wait, it was 4. Wait, so it was 4
unprotected New York picks.
Yes.
A protected pick from Milwaukee and a pick swap.
I thought the pick swap was the 5th. Damn.
You thought wrong. So that's what it is. But you know what, guys? They gave up the mountain and they moved worlds for him. I think it's a great trade for New York. I think they overpaid big time. But when I look at Brandon Ingram, bro, the reason what's going on in New Orleans, he's probably going to get traded. He knows what they know. He wants max money.
Yeah.
And bottom line, they just don't feel he's a $200 million player. You're talking about a guy who's 6'10", with a wingspan over 7 feet, can post, can hit the 3 ball, can guard multiple positions. Guys, he's only 25 years of age.
Yep.
Who has he played for? He's played for the Lakers, all right? When Kobe Bryant was already towards the end, he was trying to figure out his game. He got to New Orleans, bro, and he really came into his own, becoming that all-star player. But, and I start to think, who can you trade for? And guys out there, if you can ask the question, is Brandon Ingram worth a max contract? Is OG Anunoby worth $212 million? You pay a player that you feel what he's worth. And I think, brother, especially if we're going to transition post-Jimmy Butler, I think a combination of Brandon Ingram and Bam, bro, you are running, and you're running all the way to, I'm not going to say to the championship, okay? Because Brandon Ingram is not LeBron, he's not Luka, he's not Giannis. But what I love about Brandon Ingram, guys, is not to get on his, about him, he's this future Hall of Famer, guys. I just still feel, my brother, there's still untapped potential there.
Exactly. And with Erik Spoelstra?
Yes.
Put him with Erik Spoelstra?
Exactly.
Like
and
that.
with the culture that we have.
Like
and I think he could be even the better defender. I think Brandon Ingram is not only can he continue to be an all-star, I think he's all-NBA.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think he can and will be all-NBA. And if I'm the Heat, bro, I'm trading Tyler Hero. Even though, here's the thing with New Orleans. They just got DeJounte Murray, they got CJ McCollum. How much value is Tyler Hero going to? But this is going to come down to, guys. This is my trade. As long as Brandon Ingram is willing to sign the contract extension with us, you offer Hosquez, you offer Jovic, you offer Duncan, and you offer swap picks.
Yep.
And you offer the unprotected first round pick.
Yep.
And
that's what's going to get done.
That is, you did mention my number one true possible. Okay? That's what you're talking about. Realistically. You ready for an unrealistic?
Tell me.
Let me take a sip on this. How about a world? He said realistic. Let's go unrealistic, but maybe possible. This team loses a big-time free agent. They look in the mirror and they say, you know what? We want to do right by you, and you deserve to be on the best team that can make you the best, offer you the best chance to win the championship, and that's what we owe to you. And the Miami Heat trade for, wait for it, give it to me, Stephen Curry.
Oh my God.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Before we close it off, think about it, guys. Think about it like this. Okay. The whole offseason has gone by. What do they want? If they're going to trade Curry, you know you want draft assets, you know you want young talent. And any team that's going to give draft assets and young talent, you still got to present a championship level team. How many teams right now can you say can put Golden State in the position to offer that to Curry and give him enough to return and still have him compete for a championship? Zero. New York already did it. Brooklyn, haha, that's a laugh. That's it. And he's not going to Oklahoma or Utah.
Yeah.
This guy's been living in California throughout his whole career. And you go ahead, bro. Whoa, we're clearing the decks. Shift. Oh my God, shift. Guys, I'm still working. Okay. Draft swaps. Draft pick. Tyler Hero. Hyman's Hosquez. Jovic. Duncan Robinson. Bam. I know what it means. I know what we're getting.
I mean, yeah, that's look.
It's 4th of July.
No, I mean,
look, realistic.
Look, no, that's not. I mean, is it realistic? Absolutely. That's if Golden State. That to me is a trade in December. That's a trade if the season starts and Golden State has.
I don't agree in December. You strike now.
Oh,
don't give another.
I don't think they're going to
team.
say yes. No, I'm going to tell you right now. No, that's not a possibility because no way Golden State wants to lose Steph Curry. They're going to pay Steph. They're going to give Stephen Curry the same treatment that Kobe Bryant got. They want Steph to retire there. The only way that
Curry want?
I was getting to it.
Sorry.
The only way that they're going to trade Steph is if he requests a trade, like Damian Lillard with the Blazers.
How do we know they're not talking about it right now?
Maybe they are, maybe they're not. So if they are, the Heat should strike when they're hot. So that's something I want to hear from
a big three
because it's
Curry, Bam, and Butler.
It's never been said about Curry and the Miami Heat. What do you think, Heat fans? Is that a possibility? So, guys, we gave you a bunch of different options. Mid-level exceptions. Players we can trade for that are on this roster. Draft capital that we can trade for. Should we trade for Jimmy or keep Jimmy? Players that we can trade for. We gave you guys so much. Now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments what you think about this. Who do you think we can realistically pit up with the mid-level exception? Is Brandon Ingram a great option to trade for? Steph Curry, is that a possibility? Any other names that you've heard for? Guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to like the video. Most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Because when you subscribe, you get all the updates. Big Bro comes back for certain episodes. We're going to be fielding different types of episodes. You got the Miami Heat Roundtable. Your boy is giving you constant content. And please, y'all, don't forget, stay with the positivity. Enjoy life. Enjoy the little things. Happy 4th of July. And that is enough said. Yeah, buddy. Let's go.